Hey, Chris again from Critical Outcast here, back for round number 5 of the CritCast. Hard to believe this is actually the fifth one I've been doing. I know it's not really a big number, but this is me we're talking about, so it's a big thing. I hope you're liking them, and I hope to keep doing them. Anyway, it's been a pretty slow week. I mean, I don't know about you, but the past few weeks have felt really slow. I mean, aside from the Hudson Horror Show that I reported on in my last video, I've only seen 2 movies in the theater, which really for me isn't that many. Really, there haven't been that many movies opening. If for December, it feels kind of slow. I know there's still some big ones coming with Mission Impossible and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Sherlock Holmes next week. But even still, this doesn't feel like a December that I'm used to feeling. Anyway, one of the movies that I did see was Descendants. It's a drama from writer director Alexander Payne that's been receiving some Oscar buzz. But to be honest, I'm just not feeling it. It's not a bad movie, but it feels awkward, kind of like they're grasping for the Oscar and forgetting why they're there. We're like, hey, this is an important movie. We're in indie. Give us an Oscar. But it's weird. There's some strange stuff in it, like for example, the Sid character. I know even if you haven't seen the movie, you've seen him in the trailer. He's the guy that gets punched by Robert Forster. His apparently he's there as a plot point. He's not really a natural part of the movie. He's there to get punched by Forster. He's also there to have one touching moment with the George Clooney character in the hotel room. Well, not that kind of touching, but you know what I mean. That moment where it's supposed to have a big emotional catharsis, but it just it didn't ring true. Um, it's just one of those things that the whole movie feels just a little bit off. I mean, it's not the worst movie. I mean, it's a movie that doesn't really create a believable reality. It's interesting to look at loss and the family dynamic and coming to terms with some unexpected revelations, but it just isn't great. Alexander Payne is a very good filmmaker. Don't get me wrong. It's just that this doesn't really live up to other films of his, like Sideways or About Schmidt or even Election. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not that great. Any case, the other movie I saw in the theater was The Sitter. Now, the Jonah Hill movie about the babysitter who really don't want to be near your kids or any kids, period. It's sporadically funny, yet more or less forgettable. Um, although it is the first movie that sees Jonah Hill starring on his own for the first time and being relied on to carry a movie, which, for a non A tier movie, it's not bad. I mean, it works here. And, the movie's ridiculous. It's not terribly good. But there really is some interesting stuff going on below the surface. More than just being a vulgar movie about a babysitting job gone wrong. I think it's also like a commentary on how kids absorb pop culture through television and the media, and the idea of kids being needlessly overly medicated. But of course, that could just be me trying to justify enjoying the movie. Grasping at straws. It's one of those things that, like, considering that it was made by David Gordon Green, who has been known for some interesting character-driven movies early in his career, and has now turned to some more over-the-top comedies with this and Pineapple Express. But it's the movie made me laugh. I think there might be more to it than I'm giving it credit for. Kind of like Observe and Report. I sort of feel that way about, which I feel I need to go back and revisit. Cause I wasn't that crazy about it the first time, but the more I read about it, the more I think there might be going on in that movie. To a lesser extent, I think that might be happening here as well. The kids are funny; they get in some ridiculous situations, and it's completely over the top. But I liked it well enough. It's worth checking out. Um, Also this week, shifting gears away from the theaters and into the home video viewing portion of the show, I began my Christmas movie marathon, which is the first time I've ever done anything like this. It's kind of similar to what I did in October for Halloween, where I watched one horror movie every single day and wrote about just about all of them. And right now, I'm 6 movies in, and I've really watched some mediocre to terrible stuff, which is bombed out with a movie called Christmas Too Many, which is just awful. I mean, I know it's got Mickey Rooney in it, but just avoid it like the plague. Unless you really need something to put you to sleep, that'll do that for you. But it's just terrible. At the other end of the scale, I've had a pretty broad definition of what I consider a Christmas movie. I mean, pretty much if you mention Christmas in your movie, I'm calling you a Christmas movie, which works for me because it allows me to get a wider range of movies in here. For example, one of the better movies I've seen watched so far is called Dead End. It's a Twilight Zone horror movie starring Ray Wise and Lin Shaye, and it's really a pretty solid movie. It's it's a movie. They mention Christmas about one a couple times in the movie, but that's pretty much it. It's a horror movie that's pretty much flown under the radar because I remember hearing about it, but I never more of it than about it until I stumbled across it and found out that they mentioned Christmas in it and decided to watch it. But it's really a pretty cool story about this family who's going to grandma's house for Christmas dinner, and they're running late, so the father decides to take a shortcut, which he probably shouldn't have. Um, and this leads them onto a road which doesn't seem to end, and strange things start to happen. And they meet a lady in white who looks like she's been in some sort of accident, needs help, and I really don't want to say too much, but you should really give it a check, especially if you like horror movies. It's really well worth watching. As for the more traditional Christmas themed movies, the best one I'd have to say that I've watched so far has got to be Santa Claus. I know it's a common movie, a common film name, but here's the one you should watch. It's from Mexico. It's from 1959, and it is completely surreal. It is one of those movies that's so awful that it's great. I mean, it's been immortalized on Mystery Science Theater 3000 with its own episode there. Which, although I should recommend that you watch the full movie first, so you get the full effect of this bizarre, way out there movie. Let's put it this way: Santa comes down to Earth one time a year, not only to deliver toys, but to also do battle with the devil. And helping him is Merlin, who acts like Q to James Bond, giving him gadgets and things to use. It's it defies description. I mean, it's really out there. Okay, um, I don't know what else to say about it, but it really has to be seen to be believed. And it is on Netflix streaming, so if you have Netflix, I recommend you look it up. It's called Santa Claus. It's from 1959 and it's a Mexican film. It's not subtitled, it is dubbed, so you don't have to worry about having to read it, which would probably take something away from it. But it's ridiculous. In any case, keep an eye on my site, critical.cast.com. If you find full length ramblings from me, as well as more reviews of Christmas movies and pretty much anything else that comes along. In any case, until next time,